Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of Behind the Wrestler. My guest at this time is none other than the Prince of Mumbai himself, Rishi Ghosh. Thank you very much for taking the time out and giving us a little insight of your story.
Thank you for having me.
First then, question that you've probably been asked multiple times. Who, when and where inspired you to become a professional wrestler?
Well, I suppose me and my brother Raja always enjoyed watching Bret Hart when we were younger. So yeah, we love watching WWF or WWE when we were younger. And we started going to live shows at the Portsmouth Guildhall. One of our earliest memories is seeing Yokozuna wrestle there, which was fantastic. And seeing a young British legends, Johnny Storm and Jodie Fleisch in action. I mean, the wrestling was good, but when they came out, it was extra special, something completely different. The audience were amazed, and it was fantastic.
After watching all of those matches and stuff, and trying to find a wrestling school, how did you go about finding a wrestling school and going and pursuing this dream?
Oh, we were just very fortunate. I mean, we were at our secondary school, primary school, and a poster for a show went up in the school, which is quite strange in itself because I don't think wrestling shows are normally advertised in schools. I don't think, so it's quite an odd thing. So we went along to this show, and then we started going along, and I think we must have seen a flyer saying that the academy was open. I remember being really jealous of Raja because it was 16 plus, and he was 16, and I wasn't, so I couldn't go just yet. And he could start straight away. But shortly after, the junior sessions opened up, and we joined the FWA Academy under Mark Sloan, and it was a great experience.
Joining the FWA Academy as part of Series 3.
Good research.
And
glad.
Coming to, at that time, known as the best academy in the world, anybody had to be there. And learning from, guys like Graham Hughes, Mark Sloan, and, getting to train with people like Drew McIntyre, Ian Logan, and, your brother as well. What was the thoughts and stuff going through your mind your first day of training, walking in to where you are now?
I think I was just excited. My first day, we're such big fans of it, watching it and just getting in and doing it. And I think the first training session, I just kind of loved it. And from there, couldn't get enough of it. I mean, I say to my students all the time, we all trained 10 hours a week without fail at the academy, sometimes more, and nothing can beat getting that ring time to get really good at wrestling. And we see it down here. It's not necessarily the best athletes who do well. It's the guys who are really dedicated and get down to the training and get in the ring as much as they can. So really good experience. Met some fantastic people there. And, obviously I had my coach Mark Sloan, but many others down there to guide me, including my brother Raja, and guys like James Ty and Paul Birchall there. Amazing experience.
Fast forwarding and training for a couple of months and then finding out, having your very first match, and finding out that you're about to debut on a show, and you're like I'm gonna make my professional wrestler debut. What was the thoughts going through your mind, and how did you prepare for that?
I think I've been training for about a year and a half, and I was shocked when he said I was going to make my debut. Despite being, invited to the senior sessions early, despite being put in a series which, everyone aspired to be in. I was shocked when he said you're going to make a debut. Excited, but I wasn't expecting it. And it was nice. It was against Dan Head, who was also in my series, and Yeah, as a debut, I don't think it went too bad, but yeah, I don't think I really thought I was ready, but obviously my coach did, so yeah, excitement.
One of the matches and the shows that I've seen you wrestle on, you had the opportunity to tag up with your brother and compete in a tag team tournament. What was the thoughts and preparation going through your mind of you getting to tag up with your brother and do this tag team tournament?
Oh, can you remind me which tag team tournament that is?
Oof. I believe that was that one night tag team tournament for FWA back.
Do you remember, Raj?
2000,
Oh my word!
2002.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, I suppose we just, as wrestlers, you have so many matches. So yeah, obviously we've got Raj here, and we've got Ian Logan here as well, and we've just done so many matches. It's hard to remember specific points, but it was always a lot of fun tagging with Raj, and I think I think we brought a certain comedy element to our matches, and I feel like opponents seem to always kind of enjoy wrestling us, and all of our matches were different.
And breaking out into your own and doing more singles matches and developing your own style and your own character. What was the difficulty trying to find a ground or finding your foot of developing yourself as a wrestler?
I think you get stuck doing the same thing, and the first part of my career I really was just a generic heel, really. I mean, I had good charisma behind me, but in regards to my presentation, I was just a generic heel. And I mean, we'd done our training, and then I was doing not a lot of wrestling, maybe a show a month perhaps, and then I thought, I'll go back to training. I want to do more. I want to get into this. So I went back, and that's why I really started developing this Prince of Mumbai character. And in doing that kind of character took me, to great heights, and places I kind of didn't expect to go. And yeah, it is that, and it makes you realise how important your presentation, your character, your gimmick, and kind of believing it and developing it is. But I had to go, right back to stage one, and really learn how to wrestle in his character, and really developed it in the training school. And then first took it out on the show, the promoter liked it, but I knew it needed more. So yeah, just any opportunity I had, just keep working in this character, asking promoters who knew me as a more generic heel to if I could do this character, and they all seemed to like it, and I could tell by the way the crowd were reacting to it that it was kind of right, and it felt right.
And after developing your character and getting the opportunity to wrestle for Mr. John Fremantle, and getting the opportunity to do a few of his shows, how did you prepare, and what was going through your minds of getting the opportunity to work for Mr. Fremantle?
Well, actually, I remember, my first show when I asked him if I could do this Prince of Mumbai character, and he kind of said, because he's always liked my wrestling, and he always said, yeah, as long as your wrestling doesn't change. I said, no, wrestling's not going to change. It's just going to be a change of character. And I suppose when you put yourself in that situation, you need to go out and deliver in that character and make sure the audience are reacting to it. Because if you tell a promoter you can do a new character and then it flops, and either they're not going to let you do it again, or they're not going to book you in the show again, because it's very, any wrestler will tell you it's very competitive nowadays. A lot of very good wrestlers nowadays, and you honestly can't afford to have a bad performance.
And one of the matches that I would like to talk about with you is a match against Graham Hughes. As you were, you developed your Prince of Mumbai character, and it was against Graham Hughes. I can't remember the year because I know I had this for homework. He's given it to me for homework. Getting to wrestle Graham Hughes, who was one of the people who trained you and worked with you in the process of the FWA. What was the things you took away from that match, or the series of matches you two had?
Well, I suppose when he came back, we were both kind of a bit older and wiser. I suppose, being honest, when we're younger, in the wrestling system, before getting experience, you can do all the moves, but you don't really know how to work. You might think you do, but you don't. It's only when you get out there and work in different places, you really learn how to work. So the one that sticks out with me and Graham is when he came back from New Zealand and we wrestled at Chris Kay's SWF. So I think, I probably had, probably a bit more experience in Graham by that point, because I've done a lot more matches and varieties of shows. So, he was very gracious, despite being involved in my junior training. He let me kind of lead the match. And yeah, we had a good match. I think, the audience enjoyed it. And we did a few things that we hadn't done before. And it was it kind of felt like, even though we couldn't do what we could do back in the academy as youngsters and go have the stamina and agility, our minds have got so much better for it, and would have a much better match than we would have done all those years ago, probably 10 years later than we started. So yeah, it's interesting to think the older you get and the actual better wrestler you become despite your limitations. And from when you started to where you are now, and seeing the evolution of professional wrestling to where it is now, what are your thoughts of the transition from then to now? In regards to kind of how it was when I started
to what it is like now.
It's more competitive nowadays. It's more sporty. The standard of wrestler is a lot better, and I think that's down to getting a bit more popular. There being more training schools, so people get the opportunity to get decent training around, and it's so much more open. So yeah, I can kind of go to a show now that as long as it's a decent show, I can go along to a show and know I'm going to be on with someone good. Whereas before I kind of got back into it, if a promoter would ask me to do a show, I'd check who I was on with. But now I know I'm working with good promoters who only hire decent wrestlers. So you kind of know you're in safe hands, and I'd say it's more physical nowadays. A lot of the guys hit a bit harder, but yeah, I've always felt the art's a bit lost. If you're hitting hard, you can create the drama and make the audience feel like you're doing the moves, without hurting your opponent. Then why wouldn't you?
Is there any goals that you set when you started, and do you have any new goals for yourself that you would like to achieve?
So when I started, the first place me and my brother Raja watched wrestling was Portsmouth Guildhall. So I wanted to wrestle there, and I've been lucky enough to wrestle there a few times. And main event there with Ryback, which was nice. And yeah, I suppose semi-main event with Hornswoggle and Colt Cabana in a tag match with Gideon as well. So that was really good. So I suppose in a way, I've achieved more than I thought I would achieve. I never envisioned opening my own academy. It just kind of happened in the process. kind of organically in a way. So my only dream left to achieve now is that big house with a snooker table. That is the only dream left.
Nice. You mentioned opening up your own academy, and that has 2 rings.
Indeed.
Like you mentioned, it happened organically, and you didn't really, plan it out, and then it just happened. Opening up your own place, and being a coach, and training the next generation, and the next potential superstars of wrestlers coming through your academy, alongside Ian Logan and your brother. What was the thoughts behind of your first day of classes to where it is now?
Well, the first day, very, very nervous. By far the biggest step I've taken in my life. I remember we showed up in the car park, me and Raj, because we were very tight on schedule. We knew that we were getting the keys at 8:30, the carpet was coming at 9 a.m, and the ring was coming, I think, 9:30 a.m. And we knew we had to be set up because my first classes were the next day. So I didn't officially launch till the 12th of January, but I started private sessions with my regulars the next day. So we knew we had to be set up, so I was very nervous. And I suppose you've seen the facilities here. It is very nice, and because it's very nice, it's not cheap. So it was a huge financial risk, so very nervous. I remember Raj showing up and just saying, "I haven't slept." He's so excited. So definitely excitement, but nerves. And obviously I couldn't have done it without my brother Raja. Huge help, and Ian Logan coming in and coaching. It was icing on the cake, great. So it just, we kind of got together for the launch, and it just felt like the right team, a real good team with a bit of everything to benefit the students. But yeah, very nervous, and thinking about it now, it's been absolutely booming. I'm absolutely exhausted because this must be the 7th or 8th week. Private sessions have sold out. The session today, really, really good. Amazing work, but busy. I can't think how many people were here. Maybe. Yeah, we had four. Yeah, I think there were 14 people here. So it makes a very busy facility. You're trying to keep all your eyes on things. So it's tiring, but seeing all the work go on is worth it. Me being able to look on at Raj and Ian, coaching the next breed of superstars is a really nice feeling, and it really does feel like you're giving back to that wrestling community, which we obviously love.
I'm fortunate enough to be here and get to train with you guys as well. And
it's been great having you. It's been an absolute treat. Thank you for travelling over and picking our facility as one of the places you've chosen to train in.
Yeah, I had to. As soon as it was open and I saw it, Graham was like, "You have to go there," and I was like,
"Thank you, thank you, Graham, for sending your lad. He's done a great job, and did a great job on the show for us as well."
Yeah, and just to put it out there, like, if I didn't feel like out of place, like from the first day to my last day, which is today, like it felt like home, and it just felt like I was training with Graham back at home because he keeps asking me how I'm doing. Just to let you know.
Yeah,
doing okay.
No, that's very pleasing, and something I think we pride ourselves on is the people here. They make it. Lovely people come through the door, and they all look after each other and support each other, which is again great for us to see. Doesn't happen everywhere.
Do you have any dream opponents that you haven't faced yet that you would like to face in the near future?
Oh. A lot of my students, we are training champions down here. You look around and there's just talent all over the place, and so many different kinds of wrestlers. So yeah, I'd like to wrestle. Yeah, all of them at some point. We've got Harpinger sitting over there at the moment. It'd be great to have a match with him at some point. But yeah, you know, all of them are absolutely fantastic, and yeah, it would be good to wrestle them. Looking beyond that, I think probably one of the best guys at the moment is AJ Styles.
Yeah.
You know, fantastic. I think that ship's probably sailed, unfortunately. But that would, you know, looking at working wrestlers, I think he's one of the best. He's very special.
And you know, just going back a bit, you mentioned that you got to achieve one of your goals by wrestling in the hall that you used to sit in the crowd and watch shows, and you got to wrestle Ryback and Hornswoggle. What was the thoughts going through your mind, and what did you take away from wrestling those guys?
Oh, and Davey Boy Smith Jr. actually in the main event there as well. I forgot about that one. Just enjoy it, I suppose. Yeah, meeting all those guys, you know, they're big superstars, but you know, when we were creating the match, you know, they didn't push their ideas on. It was, you know, it was created as a team, and yeah, in the matches we went out there and we delivered for the audience, and we just enjoyed it. And I think, yeah, those big occasions can be nerve-wracking, but I think you've just got to go and enjoy it and soak it up. And you know, it's so common. You see the wrestlers on the big stages, and it doesn't quite go to plan. But I think you've got to, yeah, just enjoy it and go out and deliver what you're all about. And yeah, I feel like I did that, so I was, you know, very happy with those matches.
Do you have any advice for any up and coming wrestlers?
Yeah, train hard, get in the ring as much as you can. Really think about your presentation. You know, you've got to look like a superstar. You've got to work on your ring craft, but you know, you've got to really look like and present yourself as a superstar. Think about your strengths. Think about your weaknesses. You know, my favourite was Bret Hart. I was never ever going to be another Bret Hart. You know, I'm a character wrestler. And yeah, I push to my strengths. If I tried to wrestle like Bret Hart, I don't think I got very far. But yeah, I think mainly work hard. You know, try and go around and, you know, get to various shows, different shows. Try and train with as many different people as you can and have experiences, and obviously be careful who you take advice from, because, you know, someone might have been doing it for 15 years, but, you know, do your research, you know, check how credible they are, and, you know, the credible veterans, yeah, listen to them and take advice from them.
Thank you very much for giving us the time and for all the advice that you have given us.
Thank you.
I'll catch everybody on the next episode of Behind the Wrestler.